Hey guys, my name is Frozen Steel, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about Battlefield Premium and Close Quarters, which is releasing tomorrow, June 4th, or June 5th for those of you in Asia. And I would also, at the end of this video, there will be a quick tip on how to shoot the AEK-971 effectively. Okay, so I'm just going to go over the notes real fast for Battlefield Premium. Okay, the release date is June 4th, 2012. Price is going to be $40 in euros or $50 for us Americans. You get all 5 map packs, Back to Karkin if you've not purchased that already, Close Quarters, Armored Kill, Aftermath, and Endgame. Now, not a lot of information has been released about these things, these DLCs, except for Close Quarters and Armored Kill. Aftermath and Endgame really haven't been discussed too much, so you're basically, you know, I generally pay for what I see. So basically, I'm not really putting, or not making my decision to buy the game based on the 2 DLCs that I know nothing about. By Premium, that is. Alright, and also included in these 5 expansions are 20 maps, 20 new weapons, 10 new vehicles, 4 new game modes, 30 assignments, and 20 new dog tags. Okay, notice that here it says in these 5 expansions, and it only says 20 new weapons. So that means if you have Premium, or not Premium, if you have Karkin, then that means that these 10 weapons from in Close Quarters are the last weapons you're going to get, at least as far as I understand it. Because that is the way it is worded, and you know, these people word these things carefully. It might be a mistake, I don't know. So, 20 new maps. Alright, there are 4 maps in Back to Karkin, so basically 16 maps if you've already have Karkin. 10 new vehicles, so that'll be probably coming out of Armored Kill. 4 new game modes. Alright, so 1 new game mode for each DLC that's coming out. 30 assignments. Probably 20, since there are already 10 in Back to Karkin. And 20 plus new dog tags. Dog tags. Okay. Yeah. So, if you're really into dog tags, I'm personally not. You know, I like the ones I have, you know. I use my Magnum dog tag. You know, I love the Magnum. Go Magnum. But, other than that, I really don't care too much about dog tags. You know, I use the blank default dog tag. And then, alright, 2 weeks early access to all future Battlefield 3 expansion packs, starting with Battlefield 3 Close Quarters. Okay, that's cool, I'll buy that. You know, I really like this feature because, you know, I'm a YouTuber, I like making videos. And I want to put out, you know, content so that you guys can get a view about what Battlefield 3, all the future Battlefield 3 DLCs are all about. Alright, a unique in-game knife. Now this knife, I've heard, I'm not sure if it's confirmed or not, but that it's a knife that can also double as a bayonet. That's, you know, it has a hole in the handle. You know, the blade's really cool shaped, but you know, I don't think it's really that big a deal to have a new knife. I mean, if you're like one of those guys that goes all Assassin's Creed and just knifes everything around, but you know, it's not really, you know, I have 100 knife kills. I'm Service Star Colonel 31, so you know, I really don't knife that much. 10 plus unique soldier camos. Yeah, soldier camos. Okay, well, I really only use the Spec Ops camo anyway, but maybe if they included a ghillie suit for the snipers, because right now they look like a bunch of pussies just running around, but I think if they put in a ghillie suit, I'm not sure that they will. They haven't said anything about it, but if they did, I think that would be really awesome. And unique weapon camos. Alright, weapon camos. They're really not, you know, game-breaking, game-changing. They might be cool, sure, but you know, they're really not that cool. And in real life, you really don't use weapon camos unless you're like a super Spec Ops, you know, ghillie suit guy who puts, you know, leads on his gun so he's invisible. Excuse me, I'm a little bit sick. But and then the stats reset feature, you know, that's pretty cool. I personally will probably reset my stats because, you know, I've gotten really better since I started playing, and you know, my stats are not really indicative of how good of a player I am. You know, stats really don't matter, but I still think, you know, I'm a stat guy. But alright, unique platoon emblem decals and increased platoon emblem layers. Okay, if you're really into platoons. I'm only part of one platoon, but yeah, I really don't. I have a couple friends I play with. I really don't get into a bunch of platoons and stuff. And server queue priority. That's pretty cool. So I don't know exactly how this works, but it, you know, it sounds cool. Maybe guys with premium can crap on those that don't have it by getting them out faster. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's kind of mean. But yo, fuck them. Yeah. Whoa. Anyway, so oh, excuse me again. You can save up to 5 of your favorite battle reports. Really? Really? Yeah, battle report. Exclusive events, exclusive double XP weekends, exclusive videos, strategy guides, and additional bonus content. You know, when they say additional bonus content, they basically just leave the door open for everything. So, you know, you really don't know what to expect from that. Strategy guides, videos. That's, you know, any YouTuber can tell you what works and what doesn't. You know, there are millions of strategy guides on YouTube for Battlefield 3. And, you know, this really, you know, not really that big of a deal. I don't think most people will be using it. So now I'm going to talk about why I will buy close quarters, or why I will be buy premium and in effect be getting close quarters. You know, the game has really gotten kind of dull for me. You know, I can just go around and, you know, get kills. You know, it's fun, but it's not really as fun as it was when I first started out. My friends and I, we basically just run around being idiots. You know, pick the worst weapon class possible, slap a 6x scope on it, a suppressor, a foregrip, and we just run around trying to, you know, get kills. It's a blast. We get some laughs out of it, but it's not really, it's not what Battlefield is really meant to be. You know, Battlefield shouldn't be, you know, having to make the most the weirdest class you can just to have fun. At least not in my opinion. But you know, it's close quarters. I hope will bring some added, you know, freshness to Battlefield 3. I think that it will allow a lot of people to kind of get into it. I mean, I don't really think, I know EA is kind of making this to cater to Call of Duty players who may come over from Call of Duty to Battlefield, but you know, if they didn't buy the original game already, chances are they're not going to buy the game just because you released close quarter hectic maps. You know, we already have Metro, Bazaar, Sane, you know, but really, I'm gonna buy close quarters just because of Ziva or Donia Fortress. If you guys have seen that map in the trailer, if you haven't, go look it up. I'm sure most of you have if you're watching this video because you're probably a Battlefield fan. But Donia Fortress, that map looks pretty big. You know, I've heard a lot of people say that it was really great. Like Deku Colin and Stoneface Lock, who I subscribe to, they said that it feels really awesome. You know, cool game. They didn't get to use any of the weapons, but you know, that's just whatever. And alright, well, I think I've kind of said enough about Battlefield Premium and close quarters. If you guys want it, buy it. You know, it's just that simple. If you don't want it, don't buy it. It's just really that simple. And you know, I will be buying it because I enjoy Battlefield 3 and I want it to last and be fresh. And yeah, that's about all I have to say on the topic. And I got a magnum fail there. Anyway, alright, now I'm going to give you the AEK-971 quick tip. Alright, this gun, alright, if you guys have used this gun, you know it fires very fast. It has a shitload of recoil. And, you know, it's, if you can control the recoil, you can kill very quickly and effectively with it. If you fire in 8-round bursts and drag your mouse down and to the right, which is called recoil compensation, you can kill extremely fast and in a few bullets. You know, I recently have started using this tactic, and before I just burst fired it. You know, but since I can just purchase a Razor Death Adder, and that allows you to, you know, make small movements with your mouse, and allows me to be a lot more accurate. And since then, I've been shooting, I've went on Battle Stats, and I've been shooting up to 24% accurate with the AEK-971, and that is ridiculous accuracy for this weapon. Ridiculous. I hope this tip helped you out, and, you know, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up. You know, we end up losing this video, because, you know, I get a third of the kills, and my team does not stand up to the other team. And that sucks. Anyway, guys, leave a rating, please, and favorite if you'd like, and I'll see you next time.